Broadcasting live. It's America's longest running talk show on computers. It's Computer America, bringing you the biggest names in technology with guest interviews, new products, and your emails. Listen live at computeramerica.com on any device around the world. Email the show at live@computeramerica.com or find us on social media. Be sure to check out our website for contests, giveaways, show notes, live video stream, podcasts, and more. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello and welcome into the Computer America Show. We are the nation's longest running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers and technology. Thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Ben Crossman, and of course, welcome into the show, where today for both segments, we have the one, the only Miss Sandy Berger joining us, where we will be talking about a bunch of different products, including everything that was announced over the past, I think, like 2 weeks, where Amazon had a big hardware show off, Google had a big hardware show off, Facebook had some announcements themselves, and really it's just everyone trying to get their, trying to introduce everyone to what they're going to be presenting this holiday season. So think of this as kind of a first look, and of course no one better to help break it down than Sandy Berger. Now, a couple of things before we get started, including computeramerica.com. That's where you'll find everything from, the show notes, which will have a link to any reviews or any items or stories, things like that. It will be included in the show notes, as well as a link to our guest website. Also, be sure to check out the social media contest brought to you by Logitech, as well as the live video feed, which you can also find over at twitch.tv/Computer America. All that out of the way, why don't we go ahead, jump right into this. And as I said before, longtime Computer America correspondent and consumer electronics expert Sandy Berger joining us once again. And Sandy, how you doing?
I'm doing great, except for the weather here in North Carolina.
Yeah, we're getting that too, and luckily, we're almost to Tennessee, so of course, it's about to blow over. But man, that hurricane, we just moved away from Florida, and it's like they're chasing us into the mountains. It's the weirdest thing.
That's kind of funny, actually. I didn't know you had caused all this.
Yeah, we're actually rain totems, but I will say that hopefully everything holds out solid for you, and of course everyone else out there is dealing as best they can with this hurricane. And in the meantime, we of course have Computer America to help lighten the day a bit. So of course, before we get started, why don't you go ahead and tell everyone a bit about yourself and your relationship with technology.
Well, I've been in technology for half of my life, maybe a little more than that. And actually, I started off as a computer programmer. Then I got into being a journalist, tech journalist. So what I felt like I was really good at was explaining to people what the technology was all about. And that really propelled me into writing about it. And in writing about it, I started reviewing products. And I try to look at the products and give an honest review. Most of the reviews are going to be on my CompuKiss website. That's www.compukiss.com. Mm-hmm. And I'd love to have everybody visit me there. And then I come here once a month and we talk about everything that's going on, and it's really fun.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And of course, like I said, link to your website in the show notes. But I will say that the topics that we have to cover today, we touched on them a couple of times in the past shows, but I really wanted to save, especially things like the Google and the Amazon showcases for when you were on, because you've really taken an affinity to home automation and to a more specific extent, the idea of a digital assistant and how they can play a role in our homes. So let's just talk real quick about the role of a digital assistant as you see it, and then we can launch into Amazon, I guess.
Well, I'll tell you, Ben, when I first saw the Amazon Echo, I got one of the very first ones that came out maybe about 3 years ago, and I was so impressed at what its capabilities were and the fact that it kept updating automatically and adding new features without having to buy a new device. I was so enamored of that I really started getting into it. And now, where previously I did a lot of printer reviews and camera reviews and things like that, well, the cameras are all built into the cell phones now, for the most part. I'm just saying you can still buy cameras, but most average people just use their cell phones for cameras, and even printers are not what they used to be. So I really have started to focus on the in-home devices, and I find that they can do a lot for people, especially older people, even people who have disabilities. The voice assistants are really, really good.
Right. So yeah, and all that and more. So and by the way, if you're obviously if you're into cell phones and smartphones and things like that, there have been a lot of announcements. I don't think that you and I have really talked about the everything that was unveiled with Apple and the 10s, the 10s Max, the 10R or XR, whatever you want to call it. There's a lot there. The Google Pixel 3 event just happened, I think, like Monday or Tuesday. I mean, there's a lot of cell phone innovation going on that we haven't really touched on lately.
Yeah, I think, we're going to talk today mostly about voice assistants. Maybe the next show we can sum up some of the things that are happening in the cell phone industry.
Sure, yeah, that would certainly be a lot of fun. But as you just said, why don't we go ahead, focus in on the on the intelligent digital assistant, and we have this article here that we're going to show from Business Insider. It's just the first one I pulled up, but I do appreciate their publication, and it's just showing some of the highlights from the September 21st event. So this is between your two visits, here on the show, and everything here, we haven't really covered on the show in detail. So if you would like, I'll kind of lead you off with each topic, and then you can kind of, or if you had another way you wanted to do this.
Well, I think we're going to talk first about all the things that Google announced at the show that you just talked about. Basically, the companies have these shows like once or twice a year where they talk about new products, announcements, and reviewing and updating old products. And generally they update a product or two and they bring out a new product or two. But Google, I'm sorry. Right. I'm ahead of myself. Google actually, in their announcements last week, came out with 13 new products and updated products. That's unheard of to have that many, and it was amazing, totally amazing.
It's almost unheard of, especially for Google, who for a long time was not really in it for the hardware game. They were, of course, the makers of Android for the longest time, and they still continue to support Android. They had a lot of cloud services, but hardware wasn't really something that Google focused on. And wow, what a shift! Like you said, a lot of new products.
A lot of new products, but I have screwed this up, Ben. Oh. I meant Amazon, not Google. Okay. Amazon is the one that had the 13 new products.
All right. So first,
Google last week also made announcements, and Facebook made announcements, and so I'm swimming in announcements here. But what I wanted to talk about is all the new products that Amazon has.
All right. First one, Amazon. That makes the most sense to me because that happened about 2 or 3 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, right?
Right. So that's gonna, and then we'll of course kind of move forward in the timeline. But all of these obviously very, very relevant. Amazon, let's start there. And like we said, back in September, they showed off some new things. And why don't we go ahead and start off with the most obvious, which is an updated Echo Dot. And it was kind of funny because you have, you've come on the show, you've talked about the Echo Dot. That's going to be a lot of people's kind of entry level point into the Echo ecosystem or Echo system. But I will say that your one complaint was like, hey, dig out your old Bluetooth speaker because this thing is, not the best speaker. Talk about the new Echo Dot that they just announced.
Amazon hopefully has rectified that. This Echo Dot just came out. It's the 3rd generation Echo Dot. Still selling for $49, which is right around the price it's been to start with. But the one thing that they really improved was the sound quality. They also put a temperature sensor onto it, so that if you have a thermometer that's internet connected, you can go ahead and just say to the Echo, Alexa, put the heat at 70 degrees or whatever. So those two things together actually made a big improvement, I think.
Those were really the only two, I guess, complaints that I have actually heard about it was that, it wasn't as connected with the other devices and the speaker wasn't too good. I mean, really, if you're going to iterate and not bump up the price, like you said, it's still $50. These are good places to kind of improve the Echo Dot. It's, it's still not going to be as fully functional as some of the other devices, but keeping the price point, making it better is going to be great. So that's the new Echo Dot.
Right. And then they have the Echo Plus, which is now their 2nd generation Echo Plus, which is an Echo basically with networking built into it. And they improved the sound quality on that too. But the 3rd device that they updated was the one that is really spectacular. It's the Echo Show.
Right.
The one they announced was the 2nd generation Echo Show. And I don't know, Ben, did you ever see the 1st generation?
That was a really big, bulbousy kind of, who the heck thought this was a sleek design kind of deal, right?
Exactly. It was so chunky and so heavy looking that you just looked at it and said, "Oh, that looks like a TV from the 50s."
Yeah, it did.
Not that it was that big, but it really did.
It did kind of look like an old CRT TV. It was kind of built into like this big box thing. I think a lot of it had to do with the speakers they were trying to squeeze in, and I don't know if it was a rush job, but essentially they slapped a screen onto a decent speaker, and it came out looking not too sleek. But the new Echo
Not
Show,
only that, but it wasn't too intelligent either. It could do everything that the Echoes could do, but it just it was totally lacking. So they didn't take advantage of the screen that they put on it. And I was very disappointed with it. But now they've come out with the 2nd version, and they didn't hesitate to completely redo it. Now it's lighter, it's thinner, it's a much larger screen. It's got a 10.1-inch HD screen. They've improved the microphones, improved the sound, and I think probably even just as important as the design is the new software. Now, I have not actually seen the Echo Show. It's actually due here today, but we're in the middle of this hurricane storm, so I doubt that it's coming.
It might come. But, yeah. I was saying that it might come, but hopefully it doesn't blow away before it gets here. But everyone out there watching the video portion, we're showing the kind of the demo video that Amazon has up, and they really slimmed it out. They have speakers that are now kind of pointing in 2 different directions, trying to give you that 360 sound. And all in all, it just looks like just a good improvement over the other one. I mean, I think the old one, the screen was a little bit smaller. The screen wasn't as high definition. I mean, good improvements. Again, just seems like they took the big glaring bullet points for each one of these products and said, all right, let's fix that this time. And
That's right.
yeah.
I think they actually did that, and I think that they're going to succeed. We can do a full review of this later when I get
Sure.
one, but it sounds like they've really done well with it. They've also made it a hub, similar to their Echo Plus. So if you have, say, Philips Hue light bulbs or other internet-connected things like that, you won't need a separate hub. It's all built in.
Right, and I'm sorry to jump in here once again, but I would ask you to kind of define the purpose of a hub when it comes to a smart home.
Okay, a hub actually, say you have, let's talk about Philips Hue lights because they're so popular. If you have Philips Hue bulbs up until now, you had to buy a hub to go with it. And the hub is just a little device that hooks into your internet, and it's just an added cost and an added device. Where when they build a hub right into the Echo Show, you don't need anything extra. Well, depending on what type of internet-connected devices you have. But if you have Zigbee stuff like the Philips Hue, you don't need a separate hub, which is an advantage for setup, and it's an advantage for use as well.
Thank you, and again, thank you for explaining that. Just want to make sure everyone is on the same page. So a hub, like spokes to a wheel, all connecting to, i.e. a hub. Makes sense.
Right.
Okay,
right.
Go ahead.
And, Amazon has kept the Echo Show, the first version, on the market. They've lowered the price. The new one is $229. The other one you can get for $129, and I've got a feeling it's probably going to go lower if it stays on the market. Personally, I would, even though the new one's $100 more, I would advise you to get the new one because the old one is so lacking.
Right. No, makes perfect sense. And there, and by the way, screens, just as kind of a bit of foreshadowing, screens seem to be, kind of the next frontier for these digital assistants. When they first came out between the Google Home, the Amazon Echo, and the Apple, or I think it's the Apple HomePod, none of them had screens, and now we're, kind of doing that transition.
Right. This is where it's at. And last month when I was on the show, we talked about the Lenovo Smart Display.
Yeah.
And that was the very first device. It was a Google Assistant device, and it had a screen, and it had a beautiful screen. So basically, all these companies and new devices that are coming are in competition with it. And so there's a lot of competition, and competition is always something that's good for the end user.
Right, absolutely. So speaking of competition, Amazon is now, it looks like, competing with itself. We said at the beginning, the Echo Dot, it has been improved, and I said it was going to be a lot of people's first foray into a digital assistant, but looks like Amazon dropped the price a little bit lower, even more, with the Echo Input. And if you want to talk about a bare bones digital assistant, I think the Input is about all you can, really take out of one of these devices and still, market it.
Right. The Echo Input is one of the new devices they announced. It's a way to bring Alexa into your house by adding your own speaker. So basically, you take your favorite speaker, connect it with a 3.5 millimeter audio cable or through Bluetooth, and it's like a Chromecast, kind of like a Chromecast, but it has a microphone, so you can use it as an Alexa as well. Personally, unless you have a device, like I have a Bose radio attached to one of my Echoes, you could use the Echo Input to connect the Bose radio. And if you have something like that that you really love the sound of, then it's a good way to go. If not, you're probably better off to just buy the regular Echo.
Right. So this turns, and really, I think that's something that they highlighted during the actual presentation, was that this is a product for people who already have a system of some sort. You just said Bose or whatever Bluetooth speaker you may have. And this is a way to make sure that you don't have to throw away your speaker if you're, or at least replace it if you already have something. So
right, and this shows the emphasis that Amazon has had on audio and on sound quality. Now, one thing up until now, I have a Google Max I love the way it sounds. It is the best speaker out there, or at least one of them. But Amazon never had anything like that. So Amazon has taken a different tact. And they have come out with 3 or 4 devices like the Echo Sub, the Echo Link, the Echo Link app. These are all devices that allow you to play Amazon Music on your own system. So if you have a sound system that's already set up, you buy one of these. They're $129 to $299, but you can do everything like hook up a receiver, an amplifier, just about anything you want. So that's Amazon, the way Amazon decided to focus on the sound quality.
Right. And hey, I'm sure that Amazon knows their own numbers, that when you talk about raw data, I think something to keep in mind is that Amazon, for a large part, I'm sure that they don't have their, knowledge of what Best Buy is doing, but they're one of the biggest sellers of electronics on the market. And if they see other speakers are still selling very, very well, then, hey, they know that they need to find some way to adapt other people's products in with their products. And,
right.
I think it's just Amazon knowing what the customer wants before the customer even knows what they want. So the Echo input makes perfect sense. Although it does look a little bit like a coaster, so don't set your drinks on it.
Very small.
Yeah, very, very small. And all right, so there's that one. There's also you said your emphasis on on sound, and I guess the Echo Sub falls right into that category. Looks like a footstool if we're comparing it to other things. This thing is big, and it's very different from the other lineup.
Right. It looks like a subwoofer, and that's exactly what it is. It's a woofer that also allows you to pair 2 of the same Echo devices, so you get left and right stereo sound.
Right.
So, if you've got a system you already love, or you want a new system with the Echo Sub, I would imagine that buying 2 Echoes and the Echo Sub would probably be the equivalent of the Google Max, but I'm not sure the sound quality would be there. That's something we'd have to check out in the future.
Yeah, that, and multiple devices to do what one device does. There's something to be said for simplicity's sake. So,
and the only thing is, even though these things are fairly simple, when you throw this many devices out there, people are not going to know what they want to buy. So Amazon's going to have to do a bit of education for the consumer to let them know what all these devices are and what they do.
Yeah, and actually speaking of exactly that, I gotta say I'm personally not too sure where Amazon Echo's new Echo Link. It's to connect all your stereo equipment and feature via the Amazon Alexa. So the Echo Link amp is I'm sorry, there's the Echo Link, which is $200. There's the Echo Link amp, which is $300 and coming soon. I mean, these devices as well, seems like this is for like a full-blown, like 8, audio-visual setup kind of deal to replace one little device.
And you bring up a good point, is that like the Echo Link and the Echo Link amp are different prices, and what do? Well, basically the Echo Link makes you able to stream your stereo system to Echo devices, but the Link amp also gives you the ability to hook up a receiver or an amplifier that you couldn't do with the Echo Link. So even though the devices are simple, somehow this gets into a certain complexity that I don't think is as good as coming out with just one device like the Google Max, which sounds wonderful. Mm-hmm. I know there's a lot of people out there who have stereo systems and love to play with this stuff, and I guess that's where they're focusing on that. They also came up with a $35 device called Echo Connect that'll connect your home phone system to the Echo. Now, again, I don't know how many people are actually going to use that. I haven't had a landline phone for years, but there are people that love their landline phone, so I guess turning it into an Echo is something interesting.
Very, very much so. And of course, speaking of the whole idea of turning things into or at least connecting things to the Amazon ecosystem, the rest of the announcements that happened last month, some of them are kind of obvious. You were just, we just kind of touched on the fact that this is going to be a little complicated for a lot of people setting up smart devices. One of the pain points has always been, just the networking aspect of it, just so you don't have to call someone over to, kind of do it for you. Looks like hopefully Amazon is, trying to work on that with, whatever the heck Amazon Wi-Fi locker and Wi-Fi simple setup is. Hopefully that all works out well. I'm all for simpler Wi-Fi connectivity, but, just kind of skipping past that one, Amazon also unveiled a number of other smart products that shows that they aren't just happy, with smart speakers dotting your home. They want a lot of devices to be connected into this ecosystem. And I think we're going to start with the smart plug, which, I think that the clap on, clap off left too soon, but this is a pretty good replacement. What do you think of the smart plug?
I think the smart plug is a good device, and I think it's going to actually be popular. The reason is that other smart plugs of this type are usually a little chunkier. Mm-hmm. This is a small device. It plugs into the outlet, wall outlet, but it only takes up one plug, where some of the others take up two plugs, which defeats some of the purpose of having it. So anyway, I think it's going to be popular, and also because it's $25. So it's a small thing that takes up just one outlet, doesn't need a hub, which is another thing.
Right.
Some of these do need hubs. It's just, that is something that the ease of use is going to be there. Plug it in, and it's going to work with your system.
Right.
So I think that they're going to hit a winner with that one.
Yeah, it's very, very simple, and it does work into the idea of, simple setup. If your Alexa system identifies it as soon as you plug it in, it's just going to connect itself, and then you're able to set schedules. And Amazon kind of claims that you want to put things like your coffee maker, your humidifier, or fans or heaters or anything like that, and just put it on a schedule or be able to turn it on and off with your smartphone. Essentially, again, they know that a lot of people are not going to just throw away a perfectly working fan or coffee maker just because there's a smart unit available. So
right.
they're selling you the interface to turn one into the other, which, of course, very, very good idea. So
it's a good idea, and it's going to be popular.
Right. Now, something that I think caught a lot of people off guard is these two products that we're going to say together, and you can kind of give your opinion at once, because I think a lot of people found it weird. Amazon Basics, if you've never used that, that's kind of Amazon's name, self-name branded kind of deal, whatever. But Amazon Basic Microwave, so that has limited Alexa support, as well as the Echo Wall Clock. So Echo, of course, sporting the smart line of product name. What do you think of these two? Because again, not a speaker.
Not a speaker. Does give you the feeling that Amazon is just throwing things on the wall to see what will stick. The wall clock, what it does, it's like a round schoolhouse type of black and white clock that will show you your active timers as they count down. Interesting, and for people that set a lot of timers, maybe chefs in the kitchen, that might be a good thing. I don't see any reason why I would buy one. Same with the Amazon microwave. Now, when they did the announcement, their big thing was that you could tell Alexa how long to cook, and then you could also auto-replenish your popcorn. So the microwave will automatically reorder popcorn when you run low.
I think that this is more than anything, it's like that lone raven at the start of a horror movie that lands and caws, and the main character just looks at it and goes, I wonder what that's about. And then they move on with their lives. I feel like this microwave is that raven, and everyone's going to look at it and go, whatever. But then we're going to realize that Amazon is going to come out with washing machines, dishwashers, and all this kind of stuff that through one simple button or one voice command, you're going to say, oh no, I'm out of detergent. And suddenly Amazon is going to fill your order, ship it to your house, and charge you all without you thinking. That I think is, kind of the what Amazon is hoping to do, is to have their line of products at least positioned so that people see them and go, if I need a new microwave, hey, why don't I just order this one? And it does all these weird, hokey things that's going to help Amazon in the long run.
Yeah, you wind up saying, really, does anyone really need this?
Probably not, but you're right. This is very much.
Yeah. However, it at $59.99, so 60 bucks for a microwave. If it's a good product, which I have to assume it is, it might be something that you're going to send to the kids that are in college, or might be really great for a couple that's starting off and doesn't have a microwave. So what Amazon is doing is focusing on certain segments, maybe to see again, what sticks and what doesn't. They've got one more product called the Fire TV Recast.
Yeah.
$230. It's a unique device in that it's an over-the-air tuner. It's got two tuners, so you can record, and you can record two things at once. And it's a 50 gigabyte DVR that records 75 hours of television.
Not bad. And actually, before we get into just the implications with the Amazon Fire TV Recast, Sandy, there's music playing in the background. Everyone, we'll come right back. This hour's flying by. Stay tuned. More Computer America, more Sandy Berger from CompuKiss. Be right back. Everyone, stay tuned.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer, and again, airfare...
What about Puerto Vallarta?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
800-215-4461. 800-215-4461. 800-215-4461. That's 800-215-4461.
We are all Brother Wolf. 10 years ago, a group of locals banded together to create positive change. We took animals into our homes, held adoption events at local retailers, and talked to the community about our mission to help build a no-kill Asheville. A decade later, we have achieved so many victories for animals in need. There's been so much progress, yet there's still so much to do. As part of our year-long celebration, we encourage you to become a member of our special Compassionate Circle program. With a monthly donation of $10 or more, you will have behind-the-scenes access to the work we are doing at Brother Wolf. Our goal is to reach 1,000 members because we receive no government funding. Working together, we can help build and sustain no-kill communities. Learn more at compassionatecircle.bwar.org. We are a 501c3 tax-deductible organization.
And welcome back to the Computer America Show. It is 32 minutes past the hour as we continue on here, and we are continuing on with none other than Sandy Berger. She has been joining us so far, doing a really good job breaking down the recent announcements from Amazon. And yeah, Sandy, again, sorry for the little break there, but you were just about to get into the Fire TV Recast, which, you know, and I'll say this because I don't own one, and therefore my worldview I'm going to extend to everyone out there in the world. Fire TV did not catch on, I guess, like Fire. Fire TV is not the most popular kind of TV add-on TV. You know, I of course know of the Roku, the Apple TV, the Chromecast. Fire TV in general just has not been as big of a hit. I might be wrong. The numbers may be out there to prove me wrong, but all in all, Amazon seems to be forging ahead and at least diversifying their TV streaming recording offerings.
I think diversifying is the key word here, because this Fire TV Recast What it is for over-the-air TV. So you actually have to have an additional HD antenna to draw the signal in. And it might be a fantastic device, but again, it's focused only on people who are able to get over-the-air TV. Now, I live in a more remote area. I'm 90 miles from Raleigh. I can't get any TV signals here. So it doesn't interest me at all, and I'm sure there's a lot of people like me. However, on the other side of the coin, there's a lot of people who would be happy to spend $200 to $300 to get a device that lets them record and view the over-the-TV channels that they can get.
By over the TV, let's see, there's live TV.
Over the air.
Yeah, and over the air. And this is actually something that, that I'm trying to figure out myself, trying to cut the cable and still get local news. It's, it's still, kind of a tricky thing for me, but yeah.
It's better than it used to be, and it's getting better by the day. They're getting more and more streaming things that you can do. And let me just say one thing on your that you said Fire TV is not as popular. That might be true, but I'll tell you their latest device, the Fire TV Cube, is fabulous. I have all. I have Roku, I have Apple, I have everybody's, and I really do like the Fire TV Cube, which we could do a whole show just on that.
I had heard that the Cube, really stepped up their game when it came to the interface and things like that. So, very, very, very good to hear. But moving on, because I don't want to spend the whole show on the Amazon announcements, but a lot of these, like some of the others we've talked about, did come out of left field. And before we move on, let's see the updates to Alexa. Everyone knows that Alexa is getting better all the time. No reason to really, kind of dig into that. And also they have integration with Ring and other security services. So there's of course the ecosystems we've been talking about. And then you have other ecosystems like lighting or security or doorbells that obviously Amazon is trying to make inroads and mesh or meld much more seamlessly. Kudos for that.
Right. Yeah, there's just one more product that they announced that I really want to talk about, which is Echo Auto.
Sure.
It's the first in-the-car device for Amazon, for Alexa. And it's priced at $49.99. It is not available yet. It's right now by invitation only. And if you go on an invitation wait list, you can try it for a 50% discount when it's available. So that's a device that I think might actually catch on for people who are in the Amazon ecosystem.
And at the same time, though, I think it was Mercedes-Benz said that they made a deal with, I think it was Siri or maybe it was Amazon, but digital assistants within cars. I was about to say smart cars. I guess that kind of turns them into smart cars, but digital assistants within cars to help you navigate to a certain location or to turn the music up or down, take a phone call, basic things like that. That's going to be coming. I feel like to every model of car, if not next year, then the year after. They're going to start to segment themselves into, I think, like I said, I think BMW or Mercedes had an exclusive deal with, and again, all these names are interchangeable to me, with Google or Alexa or whatever. What do you think about that? Well,
I think you're right. Yeah. I think you're right. There's a branch of them that are going with Alexa. There's a branch that's going with the Google Assistant. There might even be people going with the Apple. I don't know about that. But in any case, not everybody has a brand new car. Okay?
Yeah, that's true.
Or not everybody is happy with the connections that their car makes. So if you have a car that doesn't have a good music system or whatever, this actually might be a good answer and allow you to control your home devices at the same time.
Very, very true. So, and like, just like Echo Auto and just like, the wall clock, as well as the microwave, they came out swinging with hardware that I don't think anyone asked for, but like you said, they're going to throw out there and see what sticks to the wall. And, if they make a mess, then I think Amazon, the multi-billion-dollar company, just recently gave a lot of their workers a $15 an hour raise. or at least to a $15 an hour raise, I think that they can afford to make some missteps and be a little risky. So it's also kind of nice to see.
And it shows with a device like the Echo
Show.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The Echo Show, where they really botched up the first version, but they came out with a beautiful second version. So anything is possible.
Right. And now we're going to move from Amazon because, and trust me, if you use Amazon, I'm sure that this holiday season, they are going to be pushing those like hotcakes. But with Amazon, Google just had their event, I think on Monday or Tuesday or something like that. It was a couple days ago and more recent, but yeah, they also had a number of different announcements, including the Pixel 3, like we said, and more relevant to what we were just speaking to, the Google Home Hub. So that's a bit different as well. Just a quick overview. I mean, what do you think of the overall event? Did you watch it? Did you just see the highlights?
No, I did watch it. I'm anxious to try the Pixel 3 because the camera looks fabulous. But the Google Home Hub is the thing that really wanted to talk about today because it really competes with the Echo Show and the Lenovo Smart Display. And it's different. It's not exactly the same as the others. So the Google Home Hub is much smaller. It's got a 7-inch touchscreen. It comes in 4 colors, blue, gray, pink, and white. And the blue and pink are like pale colors, so they're a little different than what you see. And like I said, it's small. It's maybe about 7 by 6. So from my understanding from what Google said, it's not out yet, but they say it has a surprisingly powerful speaker system for the size. And that it'll fill a small room with sound.
Right. That's been Google's kind of thing. That where Amazon maybe kind of focused on the connectivity and the skills and the apps. Not to say that Google won't focus on those as well, but they really wanted to make sure that if you put one of these devices in your home, you're not going to say, "Man, that thing doesn't sound very good." They want to make sure the speakers are good. But last month you came on, you talked about the Lenovo Smart Display. This article from CNET here is actually, directly comparing not just the Amazon Show, but the Google Home Hub to the Lenovo Smart Display and the JBL Link View. Like that seems to be their direct comparisons to this product.
Right, and those are the 4 that are out there right now, which are devices that have screens. And those devices can add a lot to the Home Assistant. Because not only can you control all the devices in your home, I mean, Google says that they can control 1,000 different devices from their devices now. But they have visual menus, and each one is slightly different. So Alexa has the Amazon background, and Google Home has the Google background. And some devices, like the Lenovo device, also uses Google Home, which, as we talked about last month, I've been very impressed with, because the visual menus for things like smart light bulbs and smart home devices are spectacular. You can see the devices right on the screen. You can see what you're dealing with as far as smart lighting. On the screen you see, and there's a circle where you can change the brightness. You can just tell it to add brightness or remove brightness, but you can also do it with your hand on the screen. And say for colored light bulbs, I thought this was really neat because it shows you all the colors you can choose from for the light bulb. All you do is choose the one you want, and the light bulb changes colors. So, that alone is worthwhile, but also the fact that you can pull up a menu and you can see it and go through cooking instructions as you go. So one thing about the hub, the Google Home Hub, which is going to be coming out on October 22nd, is that it's a little cheaper. It's $149. Now, you have to know that it's only 7 inches,
right?
So it's smaller than some of the others, but it's $80 less than the Echo Show, which is actually quite a bit.
Yeah, I think price is really going to matter here. Obviously, for tablets, I mean, I think that the tablet market has, you know, it is pretty well established. It's not as big as it once was, and it probably will never be. You know, the use for a tablet is pretty niche. But for one of these for one of these hub things, they're almost an extension of the tablet market, where people are going to be very familiar with how to use them. But at the same time, they don't want to jump in and spend as much as they can, but rather they're going to say, you know, I still need to see if this is something that I'm even going to try. So why not save $80? And if given the choice, why not go with Google? You know, assuming that you're not already locked into Amazon or Google or Apple. Screens and these hubs and these smart devices, they seem to make a lot of sense. You were talking about these menus, and you know, we're kind of watching. Someone, you know, kind of demonstrate changing the speakers, changing the lighting, the brightness, things like that.
Right.
It makes a lot more sense instead of just trying to think through your thought process, but just seeing it makes it easier.
Yeah, not only that, but it's much more useful. For instance, you want to know what the weather is going to be for the next week. You can ask Alexa or you can ask Google, and they'll give you the weather for the next week day by day. But by the time you get to the 5th day, you've forgotten what it's going to be like tomorrow. We're seeing it on the screen. What's the weather going to be like for the next week? You see it all on the screen, and it's a lot easier to deal with. The other day, somebody was talking about an animal. I can't remember what type of what the name of the animal was, but I had never heard of it before. So I went over to the Lenovo Smart Display and I asked, can you show me an image of this animal? And sure enough, it appeared right on the screen, and I knew exactly what they were talking about. And then, of course, there was also a link to Wikipedia, so I could get more information. And that information they will give you verbally, but they'll also show you on the screen. So it's very useful. I think I think they're going to be very popular. The biggest thing about the Google Home Hub is that it does not have a camera. Period.
Right. Yeah, and let's see. So obviously there's been a lot going on at Google. I think that it was either very fortuitous, or rather it was probably planned, knowing that there was a big, you know, data breach back in the spring of this year. And Google, you know, kind of killed off its Google Plus social media site. And I bring that up because, you know, in conjunction with the fact that there's no camera, is that, yeah, you know, there's still Google Hangouts, and I think they're still pushing some version of the Google Hangout to be a Skype competitor, but Google's not really looking to make those person-to-person connections like they once were. Now they're more about giving you information instead of connecting you to people.
That's right. And not only that, I think it's basically the privacy issues that a device with a screen and a camera, you might not want to bring into your bedroom. You might, I mean, even people that are used to voice assistants and say, okay, you know, I'm used to having this listening all the time. That's not a problem. But do you really want it looking all the time? So the idea, I think, of doing a 7-inch screen, doing a much smaller device that could be brought into the bedroom and would fit on the nightstand, be it just for an alarm clock or for music or whatever, I think it's really excellent.
Yeah,
it's a good idea.
Yeah, the 7-inch screen, I'm again not wild about, but if those 3 inches is the difference between $80, from one to the next, then I completely understand why they did it. I think that as this product develops, and especially next year, if they continue to make the Home Hub, there is going to be a 10-inch. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that as people and like, to me, it's like the Apple iPhone XS Max, the 10s Max, whatever. That thing is sporting a 6.5-inch screen, and that's 0.5 inches smaller, and that's supposed to be a phone in your pocket. This is a stationary object. I think that real estate is going to play such a big part in what this Home Hub does that next year there's going to be a 10 version.
That's quite possible, and there is actually a 10-inch version now, which is the Lenovo Smart Display. So that's $249, a little pricier, $20 more than the
Amazon Show,
the
right.
Echo Show, but it's still available. And so ideally, if your home was, if you're leaning toward Google, the Lenovo Smart Display, the 10-inch one for the kitchen, and this Google Home Hub, the 7-inch screen for the bedroom would be ideal. Now, the one thing the Lenovo does not do is you can't group it to play music. It can play music itself, but you can't do whole house music on it. In other words, every other Echo in the house can play music, but the Lenovo Smart Display can't. That's one thing I didn't like about it, and yet Lenovo says that they are working on it, that will be an update hopefully soon. I don't know whether the Google Home Hub will have the ability to group and to be able to play whole house music or not. I looked at all the information on it, and I couldn't find that, so that I don't know yet.
Right. I mean, a lot of these are software updates, so if they ever feel the need that they really want to do it or they figure out a way, those will be pushed out to you automatically. But you're right. I mean, out-of-the-box experience is going to play a large role in if you even find yourself using these things day to day. So hopefully, it will be able to be grouped with other devices. So that's the Google Home Hub. It has the Home View. All in all, I mean, comparing now Amazon's, all right, so let's not compare a clock to a Home Hub, but for what Google has to offer versus what Amazon has to offer now, looks like they're seeing some kind of convergence where, they both offer screens, they both offer cheaper, more expensive, or the most expensive options. They seem to be, kind of both offering similar things at this point.
Actually, yes, the Echo Show, 10 inches, $229. The Home Hub, Google Home Hub, 7 inches, $149. The Lenovo Smart Display, which is Google enabled, the 10 inches, $249. So you can get it $100 cheaper, you can pay $100 more, but they all have screens, and they all are I think, going to be excellent devices. There's one more we need to talk about. You know what that is, don't you, Ben?
Assuming we're still talking about smart devices, no, I'm actually at a loss.
Facebook.
Right. Yeah. This one was weird because I saw it in the show notes. Everyone out there just know how it goes. Sandy provides show notes about things she wants to talk about. And she's like, the Facebook portal. And I'm like, well, of course, every web portal, it's available at facebook.com. And no, lo and behold, a quick Google search later. How did this one fly by me? I mean, I figure myself pretty connected. And
I think they just announced it this week. They just announced it this week. It's called its third device with a screen, and it's called Portal and Portal Plus. The Portal is 10 inches, and let's see how much that one is. The 10-inch one is $199, and they have a bigger one, 15-inch, which is $349. Now that's pretty pricey, but these are Alexa enabled. So they can do everything pretty much that Alexa can do. Of course, they just announced, so I haven't had any hands-on with it. But the thing is, these are geared toward video chats, basically. I have a problem with, I know Google just had a breach that they tried to keep from everybody, but Facebook, 2 weeks ago, they disclosed this massive security breach, 50 million users, and previously they had 80 million users. They're just, and they've received so much publicity over these that I don't think there's too many people that actually trust Facebook, and you're trusting it with the camera, the whole ball of wax.
Yeah, that's and of course that's to me. I mean, I've certainly scaled back my Facebook usage. I think in general a lot of people have as well. Facebook has now become the repository for old photos of me, and, a place to kind of make sure my friends are still alive. And other than that, I don't really trust Facebook with, even my, and it's just the way that Facebook has operated is that they want your day to day. They want, where do you go? What do you do? What do you think? What do you look at? What do you buy? They wanted so much information from me that it felt like an abusive relationship where
Right.
I just had to be monitored 24/7. And maybe that's why this, really didn't, and even now the articles that I'm finding for it are like, Facebook, are you kidding me? Or Facebook, portal may have been stymied by, by trust issues. I mean, why do you think Facebook decided this was a good idea?
I don't know that because I would assume they've been working on it for a long time. However, the timing of it is very bad. Now, Google, who also just had a breach, they are come up with a device without a camera. Oh, Google's still concerned about privacy, but is Facebook still concerned about privacy? Now, the device itself looks great. It's got a smart camera for video calls that will zoom in and out, and it will follow you around the room and add people who come into the room. I saw a little video on it, and it looked fabulous, actually. But it's based on Facebook Messenger. I don't know if you use Facebook Messenger.
I do, yeah.
But I use it because it's an excellent way to communicate with the family that I have overseas. But I don't like it. The reason I don't like Facebook Messenger is because I have a zillion Facebook friends. I mean, I've been on Facebook for ages and ages, and I've accumulated all these friends, and then they're all trying to reach me by Messenger. And I don't know.
Everyone, you heard it here first. Sandy Berger is too popular to enjoy Messenger. That's the only thing I can pull from that. But you're right. I mean, the reason I don't like Messenger is that is again the privacy issues. They have been proven that they log calls, they actually record calls, they record video, they keep who you call, when you call, how long was the call, and they say they do it for diagnostic purposes, but they've also been proven to scrape data and of course package it and do what Facebook does best, and that's package you up as a product and sell you to advertisers. That to me is why I am very, very wary of Portal, is that you're not just before Facebook was very kind of passive. It's whatever you put into Facebook or put into other sites that partnered with Facebook, and that was the data that they captured. This time, you are inviting Facebook to passively collect your data, just like through your cell phone location, things like that. But now you're putting a camera into your home, and Facebook is the last person I trust to keep things between them and myself, especially if I'm happen to be walking by, not exactly dressed to impress. I don't trust Facebook. It's just the way I feel.
And I think there's a lot of other people out there that are going to say the same thing. And this is just focused on the video calling. I think you can put up to 10 users on one call.
Yeah.
It's probably a very good device. And Facebook has done two smart things. One is they're going to open a Portal app store, which is, of course, very necessary if they want to compete with Google and Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to do a software development kit, which is how Amazon got started with the apps. They offered people a really easy-to-use software development kit, and it took off from there. So they're doing some things that are pretty smart, I think. It's just that the timing and their reputation is not right.
Yeah, and it's only going to, and at the same time, I don't know when Facebook is ever going to kind of come out and say, okay, we realized that we may have overstepped our bounds. You don't trust us. We get that. I don't think Facebook is ever going to face that head on. And, they do offer some things saying that Facebook doesn't listen to, view, or keep a recording of your Portal video calls. But, with Facebook, whenever I read a sentence like that, I think, okay, so they don't keep or view your Portal video calls, but they might keep the metadata from your video call. They might keep, the length, duration, who you called. I'm just so suspicious that, okay, so Facebook Portal, otherwise as a whole device, I would say this is kind of similar to the first iteration of the Echo Show. In terms of design and looks, has a camera, screen, big thing across the bottom. Overall, where would you say this kind of falls in? Because with the Amazon and the Google one, it's like, which ecosystem are you invested into? And then if you want one for the kitchen, buy it there. You don't have to be invested in either one for this. You could just, kind of get this to get this.
Right, although it does work with Alexa, so you're in the Alexa ecosystem. However, the group video chat is up to 7 users in the video chat. But anyway, the video chat is where it's at. You want a video chat, this looks like a really good device if you trust Facebook. Yeah. By the way,
sure.
To get this thing, instead of saying Alexa, you say, "Hey Portal."
Hey Portal. Well, hey Portal, we have no more time in today's show. There's music playing in the background, and Sandy, we are flat out of time. I won't lie, felt a little rush at the end, but a lot of good information that was covered. So thank you so much. If people want to find more of your musings, your writings, where can they go?
CompuKiss.com. Be glad to see you there, and I'll be writing more and more as we go.
Very, very cool. And everyone, as we said, link in the show notes. Sandy, until next month, I believe that there's hey, you're going to get the Echo Show here, hopefully today, hopefully tomorrow, and we'll be sure to talk about that. And hey, maybe cell phones next month. So looking forward to that. Sandy, stay safe, stay dry. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. And everyone else out there, thank you for tuning in to Computer America. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, check us out at computeramerica.com or contact us at live@computeramerica.com. And until tomorrow, we have Ralph Bond, the one, the only, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So until then, have a great day. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.